BioPhoenix here, and today we're going to be taking a look at my first Game Boy game within this channel. Yeah, I don't know why I never got around to doing a Game Boy game, or just any handheld in general, but hey, we will might as well start with a really weird and wacky one called Spuds Adventure, and it was developed and published by Atlas. So yeah, the company that makes a lot of dark themed games such as the Shin Megami Tensei games for an example, they happen to make a game based off vegetables. As odd as it sounds, I at least think it's fucking funny. And it was released in 1991 on the Game Boy. And it's a puzzle game with some minor RPG elements. Sound intriguing yet? Well, for now we're gonna go into the story. So it begins within the vegetable kingdom that there is a princess named Princess Mato. And yes, she is a tomato, and not to be confused with Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom on the NES. Yes, this game has nothing to do with that game. But when suddenly she has been kidnapped by a beetle named Devi. So now the character that you use, Spud, has to go rescue her. But there are two people that went to go after her before, but they never returned, so now it's your turn. But those two other characters that went off to adventure to save her were Arnie the Eggplant, and Garrett the Carrot. Yep, you just gotta love puns. Now this really makes me wonder if the character Ikutsuki from Persona 3 would love this game for that. So yeah, the story in this game is not really the most amazing thing ever. It's actually pretty basic and simple, and well, I don't really expect anything like amazingly epic from a story about a bunch of vegetables fighting off against a beetle. Now as ridiculous as it sounds, I at least think it's really funny. But of course some might say that I have a really stupid sense of humor, but hey, whatever man. So there's not a whole lot else I can say about the story, but it's there, and it's just meant to be funny. I don't really think they're trying to make this thing really serious. So now let's move on to the gameplay. So the game is in an aerial view, and you are ascending from a big tower, and you attack by throwing stuff at the enemies. And just about every floor is almost like a maze. In fact, I find this game is very similar to The Adventures of Lolo a little bit. Not exactly, but it has some similarities to it. Now you might wonder, how does this game have RPG elements? Now when you kill enemies in this game and you get a total of 100 experience points each time, you gain more health, making you more stronger or more durable, making you more of a hardcore potato than anything. And of course you get your boss battles, and then you get like your people that you can talk to get hints, collecting items, and there's even cinematic cutscenes. It's a fairly simple game, but for a game like this on the Game Boy, I actually really like it. But for now, let's move on to other things like the controls. And I have to say, the controls in this game are actually pretty good. I have no complaints whatsoever. Everything is really easy to follow and understand. So not a whole lot to say about that either, but you shouldn't have any issues whatsoever. Now as for the graphics, I think the graphics in this game are pretty good for a Game Boy game. Now we gotta keep in mind here is that because I am doing this on a Game Boy game, there are many limitations I have to keep in mind here, considering that the Game Boy did have a really weird screen that was like black and white or more like yellowish, green, white, whatever. But if you're playing this on the Super Nintendo with that adapter to play Game Boy games, or if you're playing this on the GameCube with the Game Boy Advance adapter, or even just on emulation, it should look fine. But with that being said, I do think the graphics for a Game Boy game are good for what they are. Now as for the music, I think the music is alright. I mean, it's nothing like amazing, but it's nothing terrible either. Although unfortunately, I wasn't able to find any music online for this game, so unfortunately in this video there won't be any music within the game, so I'm probably going to put some random music in case you haven't noticed already. But before we move on, there is one interesting thing there is to note about the music is that on the title screen there is a way that you can glitch the game and then the music will change and it will sound really weird and creepy. It's pretty neat that you can do something like that in a Game Boy game, so with that being said, I would recommend you to go listen to that just because it just sounds so weird and wacky. But the music in general within the game itself is alright. Nothing much I can complain about, but nothing else I can praise it for. Now, if you want to buy this game, be prepared to pay out the nose. Well, that's as if you want a North American copy, which goes about more than $150 loose. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, but if you want to get the import version of it, which is from Japan, it's about 30 plus around. So yeah, this game is pretty hard to come by. I mean, for one, I've never seen it in my life before, and it seems to be pretty expensive on eBay, so yeah, like I said, be prepared to pay out the nose if you want to own a copy of this game. But if you really do want to try out this game without paying that much money for it, you can always just emulate it. So yeah, this game is pretty expensive for what it is. And now, if I were to rate this game, I'd have to give it a 7 out of 10. As ridiculous as this game is and simple it is, I actually do like it for what it offers. Yeah, the concept is pretty dumb, but damn it, it's fun. Now, it's not like amazingly fun, but for what it is and for a Game Boy game, it's at least fun. Although personally, I find that the price for this game is a bit too much for what it is. But if you are a hardcore collector and you just want to own everything, then hey, go for it. As for me, this probably wouldn't be something I would own unless I happen to see like a really amazing deal off it for like nearly nothing. But let's be real here, that probably won't even happen. But for me personally, I'm okay with playing this game on an emulator, because it's simple and fun. And yeah, it's really silly and ridiculous and pretty dumb, but I at least think that it's at least creative for what it is. I mean, it's not very often that you see a game based on like vegetables trying to save the world. Now, believe it or not, there were other games within this series of Spuds Adventure, but apparently the series name is Puzzle Boy. And not only this one, but 2 other games were also released in North America, such as Amazing Tater on the Game Boy. And a game that you may think is unrelated, but it actually is called Quirk. And this game was published by Acclaim, and they used a tomato character. But all 3 of these games were released for the Game Boy. I may look into these games at some point later on, but we'll have to see about that. But as for now, Spuds Adventure is pretty fun, and that's something that's good that came out of Atlas, is that they always seem to make some really weird ass ideas for games, but they end up always being good. Not that I'm complaining, because I fucking love Atlas, but we're gonna end things right here, so I hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you for watching and commenting.